Now this event here sometimes happens to me quite regularly really, in that I inherit a project file, and we have here my bedroom manual, where all the tasks have been manually scheduled, hence the little pin icon. So somebody has physically placed in the start and the finish date for each task, not allowing any predecessors or any control like that or resources to control what goes where. And what I want to achieve is to change all these tasks into auto-scheduled and then link them all together. To start with in a linear way, so that we go from top left to bottom right, and then potentially visit some of those relationships to change them slightly. Now that could be quite an onerous task, but if I were to achieve that and carry it out once and record that, I could save that as quite a useful macro. A macro for resetting a project, for example. I could then create a button for that macro and save it onto my newly created macros ribbon here. But where I already have two, I could have a third. So what are the steps? Well, the first step is to record a new macro. So from the View Macro option, we choose Record Macro, as we've done previously. We give our macro a sensible name, Reset Project, and we choose where to store it. Well, because I want to use this for myself on a regular basis, I would store it in the global file. I would change the description to remove all of that default macro to, recorded on, and even who recorded by, and just state this is to reset a project to auto scheduled with linear links. I don't need a keyboard shortcut because my use of it would be so infrequent that I would forget that keyboard shortcut. And we will take the defaults for the row references being relative, but column references being absolute. Okay, now we're recording everything we do. Now, if we want to use this, we don't know how many tasks are going to be in any of these new projects that we open. So the first job would be to select the whole lot. So if I click here, that selects every single task within the current project, regardless of the size of the project. The next step will be to change all the tasks into auto-scheduled tasks. Now we could do that through the task information. So from the task ribbon, task information, and place the dot in auto-scheduled. Okay, all of our tasks now change into auto-scheduled. What you'll also notice is that we suddenly become over allocated as well with our resources because everything is now happening on the first day of the project. But we can ignore that for the moment. We keep everything selected because the next stage is to add in this linear linking. And with all the tasks selected, if I stay on the task ribbon and go to the schedule section, we know that we can click this little icon here to link all the tasks in a finish to start relationship. So if I give that a click now, all of my tasks get linked up. Top left to bottom right. The over allocation has gone as well, you'll notice, because everything is now happening sequentially, one task after another. Now, it might be that I have to go in and revisit certain steps to make sure that things are happening correctly, but as a global setting, this is a great start. It's changed all the tasks into auto-schedule. It's gone and auto-linked everything to follow on in a linear basis, thus removing the manual dates and the manual setting for each task. That's enough to achieve what I'm after, so I go back to View Macros and stop recording. I now have my reset macro. So we need to add that to our macro ribbon, our little tab here. So that's File, Options, Customize Ribbon, look for our macros. There's my reset one. I want to add that to this little section here. But let's add a new little group. And we'll rename that Global Options. Okay. And we add our reset project to that particular group. And again, we're going to rename it. I'm just going to call it Reset with a decent icon. What about one of these arrows there? Reset. Okay. Okay. And when we look on the macros ribbon, we see our reset option here. So if I close this file, don't save the changes, then reopen it, So My Bedroom Manual. You see that it's still set to manual and manual links, but I can click my reset icon and hey presto, in the blinking of an eye, it's achieved what I've asked it to do. So that's a reset project, useful little macro, but the main thing here has been the process involved. We record the macro, we then trigger the macro by an icon on our ribbons.